Urban Citizens for Social Justice is here today on behalf of some residents in Dayton, Ohio, and abroad. We are extremely concerned with the state of our police system, laws, and interest groups that lobby against our civil rights. We understand that the city and state's finances include budget for police, but the quality of policing in our black neighborhoods and police accountability has dropped tremendously over the years. Our state, in particular Ohio, is facing troubling times. Police killings of unarmed blacks are without consequence, and our families deserve protections from unjust laws enacted by our government leaders. However, this is hard to accomplish when our laws are out of date, our police are militarized, and the general morale of both police and community is an all-time low. As a result, fear is high in black communities as it relates to police encounters. Also, our fear to allow our black kids to play on a playground with toy guns is not safe for them. These are in due part to laws enacted that allow police officers to say in all instances, "I thought it was a gun," or "I feared for my life." And of course, police are not charged. We are aware that you have this is to Mr. Mark Owens, we are aware that you have a lot on your plate as chair of Montgomery County Democratic Party. Both as parents and citizens, we are asking you to find some way in the state laws, ordinances, and bills to help out your black communities in your county. We know a number of parents who have shared with us the horror of losing their sons and daughters to police brutality, only for them to bury their loved ones with no justice in sight. This breaks our hearts. In closing, do not insult us with the myths of all lives matter and blue lives matter. The truth is, Black lives matter, and this you should push to all your constituents. We appreciate what you do for our county, and we look forward to positive changes and meetings with you soon. Sincerely, Urban Citizens for Social Justice. This will be the letter that we go to Mark Owens today. We're going to deliver so that he has it in his hand, and also with some points of some laws and ordinances and bills that we want to see on the ballot in November, or that we can enact here in Montgomery County and Ohio. We're going to hear from 2 or 3 more people, and then we'll go from there.
I just want to speak on behalf of our community that things that we're asking for at the moment should already be a given. We're fighting for something we're just fighting for righteousness. That's about it. We're fighting for equality, and we just want changes in our community. We want to be able to prosper and be able to live life on a regular like everyone else.
Hi, my name is Yolanda Simpson, and I'm here in support of Carlos Buford. African Americans have historically and traditionally been Democratic voters. It is imperative that Democrats who are running for a position, that they understand the plight and what is plaguing the black community. Right now, we are dealing with some problems with gun violence. We are dealing with problems with police brutality and excessive force. I have met with one of the Greene County Democratic candidates who is actually running in Greene County, of course. And unfortunately, she was not at all knowledgeable about what criminal reform is really about. She never spoke and has never actually put on her platform any information about police brutality or excessive force. I sent a letter to another candidate who's running as a against Mike Turner, and she unfortunately does not have any knowledge, did not respond with any knowledge, and I don't think plans to respond with any knowledge on police brutality and excessive force. The problem is that most Democrats, most of them are middle class and most of them are white. Unfortunately, it is in West Dayton and communities of color who are dealing with gun violence and police brutality and excessive force. It is imperative that as a community, we go forth to every candidate and tell our stories and let them know what is happening in our communities. And if the candidates cannot respond or react in a way that will keep our communities safe, then it is time for us as a community to vote them out of office and vote those in office who are absolutely paying attention to and addressing our issues. It is imperative that we support Carlos Buford and Urban Citizens for Social Justice as they use their platform to make sure they are speaking to the candidates. Thank you.
I just want to speak to the Democrats. They need to stand up and have a backbone and stand up to these Republicans and let them know we're not putting up with their mess. Our issues do matter. Our lives do matter. And another thing for the Democrats, they need to stand for Maxine Waters. They need to stand with her because she's addressing our issues. And she's not playing with these Republicans. And she means business. And the Democrats needs to mean business too.
I appreciate these speakers that we have here. We really want to make sure that the Democratic Party understands that we are not anti-police. We are pro-police with accountability. We are asking that Democratic Party leaders, Democratic candidates on their campaigns, their literature, and also their website to put police accountability on there so that we can see that and so that their constituents can see that. We do not want to go to another election without having black issues on their literature. They come into our communities, they have everything as far as health care, the opiate addiction. All before those started happening, we had police killings in our neighborhoods way before that. But that never hits the literature or the campaigns of these leaders. And we're saying, stop it. We want you to acknowledge what we're going through, and we want a pure, good plan to stop it and bring accountability to police officers against unarmed citizens, and not only in Dayton, but Ohio and the United States. And we feel that Democrats have the means to enact laws and bills and ordinances to make this happen. And that's why we stand here today. For those who cannot speak, we're speaking for them. And we thank you all for listening to us. And right now, we're going to go ahead and deliver to Mark Owens and or his staff a paper of laws that we would like to see happen in the state of Ohio.
We want to know specifically what is going to be addressed with respect to the black community. Not only just police accountability, we want something specific for economic justice within the black community. Yes. You have 11% of the population that live here downtown Dayton, but yet the vast majority of the money is going to 11% of the population. There's nothing being addressed with respect to the community, West Dayton in particular. Very concerned about that. And all that ties into what's going on with respect to our communities. And of course, when we talk about police accountability, it's almost police have the carte blanche to do whatever they need to do with the citizens over there, particularly in the black community, and there's no accountability. And all that ties into that.
Kim McCarthy is actually, and I'm going to say her name, I'm sure you know who she is. She is running for Greene County. She put up an advertisement on her website with Martin Luther King marching. And I told her I was offended by that because the Democratic Party is not the same party of the Civil Rights Party. And so I spoke with her, and unfortunately what she said, and I think she's pretty, representative of most candidates who are running, is that she doesn't know how to address the issues of the black community because she feels like she's pandering rather than being helpful. We talked about criminal reform, and she said she knows the data. Somebody told her about criminal reform and what the problems were. If you don't know specifically what the problems are, then how in the heck are you going to resolve them? I sent a letter to Teresa Gasper, and I spoke with her and said, tell me exactly, specifically, what just the question she's asking, what does criminal reform mean? How are you in any way addressing the issue of police accountability? Her response was, well, we talk to everybody in the community. That's it. That's the response. And the problem is that historically and traditionally, as you well know, African American, especially African American women, have supported the Democratic Party. 98% of African American women voted for Hillary Clinton. Very few percentage of African Americans who are running for a candidacy are being helped by the Democratic Party. In Dayton, Ohio, whenever there is a police shooting, I don't ever remember a Democratic candidate coming and speaking to the mothers and to the families of those who are losing their family members. And we don't understand why that is, because the problem is that when we have rogue officers in the Black community, they're eventually coming to yours. And that's the problem. And if we don't deal with the systemic racism and the problems of the police department, we're never going to see peace in the community with the police officers.
To a specific example of the Dayton Police Department and their rogue activities towards my son, who was carrying a backpack, going Clement Avenue, going on his way to school to St. Clair to catch a bus. He was accosted by the police. He was patted down, genitals grabbed. We all know about the historical nature of grabbing Black men's genitals, but that's another story. His backpack with his books poured out, and because he knows a little bit, because I am his mother, he was asking them what is the probable cause and the whole 9 yards. They're like, oh, you're a little smart MF, and they roughed him up and sent him on his way. So those are the specific things that are going on in the community. You report, oh, who's going to take, you report it, Internal Affairs will take a look at it, but you never hear anything else. I want to tell you another specific example with respect to the Dayton Police Department. I got stopped by the Dayton International Airport Police because my lights was out. They explained to me that my lights were out. I said, okay, fine. They ran my information and they looked up. They said, did you get stopped by the Dayton Police back in 1995? 1995. I said, yeah, I got stopped. Yeah, and I remember the accounts. I don't get stopped often. They have in their database that I am very anti-police. So if I was to get stopped by a police that have rogue intentions, what are you setting me up for? What are you setting my children up for? Because this is on the record. And I brought this to the attention of Dayton Police. I brought it to the attention of people that have ran for offices, including Democrats. No one has done anything about it today. So we're not just talking about, just talking fly in the sky. These are specific examples of what have occurred just in my family alone. That's a problem, because if it's on my record in this so-called database, how many other people that don't know, because just so happened a police officer told me because he laughed. But I would never have known, and this has been on record since 1995. So this is real. This is real talk.
Let me just tell you this. We're not anti-police. Don't please get that into this meeting.
My brother's a
What we're saying is, and I have many friends of police, what we're saying is this. There has to be accountability. There's got to be a balance here. We need police. Okay, my church have every year an annual police thing where we acknowledge the police in our neighborhoods, okay? We do that. All I'm saying is we have to have accountability, and we feel that the Democratic Party, at some point, a small percentage, I'm saying deal with them too, compared to the Republicans, they're receiving funds from the Fraternal Order of Police. Sometimes campaign money and things like that. Those funds go against our civil rights, because whoever gets funds from the Fraternal Order of Police, they tend to speak to that agenda. And that agenda is what we don't want the Democrats to go that way, period. And we're saying address that with your candidates and anyone who's currently receiving those funds. I'm not saying be anti-FOP. No, what I'm saying is back up. No special interest group should be vying for you to do things on their behalf that goes against us. We voted for you, not the Fraternal Order of Police. And we're saying that's an issue that we see wholeheartedly on the Republican side. Mm-hmm. Yet there are Democrats right here in Dayton, and I'm not going to say which one, but I'm not sure if the mayor is one. She may be getting some funds. What I'm saying is we need to stop it, especially coming from the Democratic point of view, okay? We have to stop it. We are suffering out here. Mm-hmm. Our families, our friends. I just not too long ago cleaned out my closet, and I looked in the shoebox. In that shoebox was 2 play guns. They belonged to my grandson. He's 7 years old. I forgot that I had them in my closet. The reason I took them from him because I know it's not safe for him to have it outside. I don't let him play with that. But when I showed him those play guns that he used to have, he says, G-Dad. He called me G-Dad. He says, can I play with it now? I says, I'm sorry, it's not time. Mm-hmm. Mr. Owens, that's my life. Mm-hmm. That's my grandson's life. And we have everything in here what we are talking about in this packet, okay, with some laws that we would like to see happen on your watch and the candidates' watch, on their campaign literatures. We want to see that so that we can move forward. We want to be supportive of a party that supports our issues. However, when we don't see things like this, we don't want to go into another election again. It's high and mighty now that we do something now, okay? And like I said, we appreciate your time. We don't want to waste any more time. We got somewhere else to go as well. And we want to make some dates after this. I'll give you a call to sit down with you with other groups who would like to sit down with you and go over some things that we want to see happen soon, okay?
The most important thing is that there shouldn't be discomfort.
Well, I think there should.
You know,
I think there should be. I'm uncomfortable. I should be.
Why? Here's the thing, and I'm gonna say one last thing. These are not black issues. Mm-hmm. These are human issues. Mm-hmm. And if the Democratic Party doesn't understand that when you don't address black issues that are plaguing the black community, you are neglecting humanity. So there shouldn't be discomfort in the fact that we are confronting these issues. There should be discomfort that you're not addressing them. Mm-hmm. So please, this is not an uncomfortable thing. And I'm kind of tired of white people telling us how uncomfortable they are about talking about issues in the black community and race. I didn't say you did. I'm just saying that we have to make sure, and I'm talking in general. So let's kind of squash the idea that there has to be uncomfortableness in a conversation, because that creates a lot of tension and it doesn't ever solve a problem.
If I could, one thing I'd like to express is to say, I know you have to leave, but say just something briefly about the local Democratic Party. I'm not sure you guys are quite aware of how it works, okay? We're all volunteers, except for Sarah. She works 20 hours a week and we give her a small stipend to come in and run the office. So we're all volunteers. I invite you all to join us. We have open spots in where you can represent your neighborhoods and make your voices heard. This is a very open party. We just had a reorganization. It happens every 4 years. You run for seats on the Central Committee, and you can control it. You can decide whether we're going to endorse people, and that's one of the big debates we have, is whether we endorse people or not endorse people. But I certainly would invite you to think about, if you really want to have a voice and want to have a say, we're all volunteers here. We're not part, I don't get paid. I'm a volunteer here as well. So, I would invite you all to think about joining as a precinct committee person and having your voice heard.